back. This is Ricky Chavez with Battle Ready. It's a process of reinventing yourself. And today I was speaking with Isht Vatsa. He's an immigration attorney based out of Miami, and he does a lot of employee-based immigration, if I say that right.
hmm
And welcome back, Isht.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Rick.
Earlier we talked a little bit about some of the things you do, and how you work with your clients and how you kind of transition from criminal law to now um, immigration side. Let's talk.
hmm
Let's step back a little bit. Back when leaving high school, you're from India. You came in
hmm
earlier in your world, and you transitioned to high school, and then you went to college. How did you decide to become a lawyer? Where was that?
Yeah, I think that I was part of the International Baccalaureate or the IB program in high school, and I just read tons of books and I did a bunch of writing. I initially entered college as a business major, right, thinking that I wanted to do more accounting work, and then I just ended up liking writing so much that I just said, okay, I'm just going to hone this craft here, and then kind of place it for use in the professional world. So I just think my interest in law just grew out of an interest in writing.
And so graduated. When you graduated, where'd you graduate from school from?
I graduated high school, Coral Reef Senior High here in Miami, and then I graduated undergrad, University of Florida. I went to law school up in Boston and graduated from there, Boston College.
Oh, really? So big change. How did you decide Boston from Miami?
Honestly, I got a good scholarship offer from the university, and I went
Sure.
there and I really liked it. I just like their smaller class sizes, and I just like the college atmosphere there. So I just decided to give it a shot.
Okay. And once you graduated, did you stay up there? Or did you go back to Miami?
No, I actually came right back to Miami and started at the state attorney's office here. Boston's a really cool city, but it's very cold.
Sure.
And
Yes.
for a Florida guy who's used to sun 12 months out of the year, it's honestly the gray that will just knock you out. Because I mean, to anyone, whether it's you or anyone in the audience that has spent a lot of time up north, it's about gray about 4 months out of the year, right? Which is hard to stomach.
No, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I actually retired out of Woburn, Massachusetts, which is one of the
Oh, cool.
the areas up there, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to go up there. I commuted from Houston. So every
Oh,
other week I'd commute up there, stay a couple weeks, and come back. So
nice.
it was
Nice.
brutal. But so now you're back in Miami. You're
Yeah.
in the courts dealing with criminal law
Yeah.
at the Attorney General.
Yeah.
And so the transition, you said you got an offer earlier, and you like to write. That every time you say that, it kind of gives me a little shivers. I'm not a writer at all. If I
Mhm.
don't ever write another word ever, I'll be happy with that. You know, I in my career field, I have a transaction coordinator. She does all of it, thank God.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so you got some offers, and then what?
Yeah, so I start in the courts, and it's an interesting space to operate in as a prosecutor because you do have discretion, over your cases, and it's kind of nice in the sense that you kind of proceed forward with a case based on your own discretion and your own judgment, right? So it was really interesting to not only pursue the cases that I really thought deserved to be pursued, but also, kind of work with defense counsel to reach settlements or plea offers, right? To give individuals a chance to rehabilitate themselves and to restore areas of communities at times that they came from, stemming from their offenses, right?
Sure.
And then after that point, just kind of coming back into more of the writing space. I think the joy of being a writer is really to be able to communicate effectively and to really advocate for your client, right, or for someone that you're trying to support, but in a way that's nuanced and kind of is written to meet certain requirements to propel things along, right? So I think making writing persuasive and compelling is what is very important to me.
So I like painting the picture. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly,
Of the
but with words. But with words.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So so tell me, so how would somebody find you? How would what is the person that is out there that's looking for some guidance, what would that person be looking like? I mean,
Yeah,
career-wise.
sure. So I think, I am fairly active on LinkedIn. If for professionals that are in legal services or finance, or if your clientele is highly in the professional area, I think LinkedIn is a great marketing tool because it allows you to write again, right? So I get to do even more
Sure.
writing, but now for a marketing purpose. So I have found clients through LinkedIn who've liked some of my content because I'm able to convey my value, and I'm able to convey at least topics that I'm interested in, or that I would like to delve deeper into. But also just referral networks, right? The clients that I've had the honor of serving before through good work have also referred me, to their friends, to their family members, to their colleagues, and that's always a real neat treat, right? Is to get referrals from former and current clients, and then this the best way, I guess, is to kind of go out there and communicate your message, right? I've had some success with LinkedIn. I'm open to now experimenting with other formats, right? So it's really about trying to find that format that you're most comfortable with, and then just expressing yourself past that point.
A Google business page?
Yeah, so I do have a Google business page as well for Extraordinary Immigration PLC, which is my firm, right? And then
Okay.
having a great website, I think, is a requirement in this day and age. And I've got a website over at eoimmigration.com, and then the general firm email through which anyone can contact me is info at eoimmigration.com.
And so you just have somebody that they'll come out there, they'll reach out to you, and you'll set up like an interview with them. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, a consultation, Ricky. That's right. So,
Sure.
just to get an understanding of their need, right? It's always the immigration solution always follows the need that's articulated. It's never the other way around, right? So it's really trying to understand what the individual wants in relation to, approaching the United States, and then to offer them the best solution based on their need.
And when you're dealing with the employer, do employers reach out to you in like for their employees, or do the employees reach out to you directly, or both?
No, employers will generally reach out to me, right? So
Okay.
HR teams, or maybe a supervisor or a colleague that's in a managerial position over the respective employee that they're trying to either bring over to the United States, or maybe that professional is already here and they're trying to keep them there, right? So it's usually a super or an HR professional that would reach out to me, and then of course I do like to bring that employee in as well. But in those cases, it's really the business that's the sponsor and the employee that's the beneficiary. So it's a relationship with both parties.
And you said earlier, I think, and if I heard this correctly, so you do a lot of writing. So you have to tell their story to the US, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
on what's the importance or the benefit of bringing this person over. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the general gist of it, Ricky, right? But that, their importance or the value of their work, that is presented differently depending on which exact visa type that
Sure.
the professional's trying to pursue.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's like, yeah, for sure. It's just like you want to. So I'm in real estate. You want to buy a house. Now, what kind of house, right? So with you,
Exactly.
you want to become a citizen, or whatever area
Mhm.
part of what you're doing, and then you go specifically to that and why it's important for them to
Right,
possibly.
exactly. And sometimes individuals will, or companies would approach me and say, "Hey, listen, we really want to pursue X type of visa." And I'll say, "Hey, listen, Y type of visa would probably be the best given your needs," right? So it's
Suited them.
almost like in real estate. If someone comes over to you, let's just say they're retired and they're older and they want a huge mansion, you may say, "Hey, listen, it might be in your best interest to get a high-rise condo instead," and just
100%.
given your needs. Yeah.
And that's why you're the subject matter expert, right? It's I think one of the things we talk about and we joke about it with a lot of the people that have been on the show is you don't know what you don't know. So
Right, right,
as the subject matter expert, you take in when you do the consultation, you take in the information,
right,
you review
right.
it, and then you come back with them with some sort of a solution.
Absolutely, right? Because I mean, different professionals, right? So in real estate, you have your own flow chart. In immigration law, we have our own flow chart. So that's really the benefit there, as an individual that deals with this flow chart day in, day out, right? And the ability to work with that professional to really get an understanding of kind of where you fall in that specific flow chart, and then the ability to execute forward from there.
So, quick question with that in mind.
Mhm.
So, have you ever had an experience with an individual that in their mind, because today everybody has a degree in Google, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just know everything. They
yeah,
come to you and they're totally wanting to do one thing, and based on your experience and the knowledge, the actual knowledge, you've guided them a different way, and then at the end they realize finally, oh wow, I was not going the right direction.
yeah. That happens often, Ricky, and then a lot of the times I'll have current clients who are working with me in a very level-headed way. It's measured, I have a great relationship with them, and then they'll call me and say, "Hey, Ish, I read this on Reddit," or like this came up on my Facebook feed, or my friend on Instagram told me this, and I say, "No, no, guys, listen, we're doing well, right? Like you have to trust my judgment and my guidance on this. This is not the time because the internet, as you just said, Ricky, is a volume of knowledge, right? And sometimes that knowledge is contraindicatory to what the individual really needs, right? So
You know
it's
what?
could be problematic. Yeah.
Totally understand that because here again we talked real estate earlier, right? So we have an
Mhm.
individual calls you, hey, I just got pre-qualified for $400,000. Let's go find a house.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But can you tell me what you feel is a acceptable monthly payment, something that's okay to you? Well,
Right.
it's 2,000. You know that you're not going to find. Do you have a lot of money to put down? No. Well, those don't work out then, right?
Right.
That's where all your knowledge comes in,
Mhm.
right? Well, I mean, and so tell me some of the feedback after you've pushed somebody or guided somebody, better than push, guided somebody
Mhm.
down the path that you thought best suited them, and then they realize, oh my gosh, um, how do they feel after that?
Well, I would hope that they feel in a positive way because I've placed them there in a position, right? If it's a company, then the way that that employee is placed is conducive to the company's operations. If it's an individual client, the way that that person is placed after engaging with me, they're placed in a position to better, pursue their economic goals or their family goals, right? So it's all about position and placement. And then when that individual looks back based on like the status that you've given that you worked with them to gain, or if it's lawful permanent residency, if they worked with you to gain that residency, right? Then they see how that newer position based on compared to where they were before is more conducive to their needs.
Right? It seems like you have to do your due diligence based on their conversation with you to really put a plan together for them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. And this is certainly a field where you need to sit, plan, and strategize prior to acting.
with everything going, is there a lot of changes right now going on with that? Or I mean, tell me how that happened.
Tremendous changes, right? I mean, the executive branch has a lot of power over immigration. It traditionally always has. So, with this new administration, there are a lot of changes, right? And the flow chart that I was referencing, sometimes that can change biweekly, right? So if it's challenging for immigration attorneys to keep up with the changes, I can't imagine, how difficult it would be for a layperson to try to keep up with those same changes and then make actionable choices based on those changes, right? So I think the value of counsel's, greater now than ever before in this space.
I appreciate you bringing that to us. We're getting ready to go into a commercial. Everybody will see you when we come right back.